Hello and welcome everyone. So yesterday I decided to cut my bangs super short. I've been going back and forth between like letting them grow to here and then cutting them short again. So I cut them and I cut extra layers in them this time to kind of make it like this. And then yesterday I was considering dyeing my bangs this color because I don't have enough money right now to buy actual hair dye like the stuff that I normally got. Like to get enough to where it covers my whole head, it was like $70 some for the full hair dye. And I remembered I had this Arctic Fox stuff, so I was like, well, maybe I'll just dye my bangs, like that'd be fun. And then somebody suggested that I mixed it with conditioner to get like more of the product, and then I could put it on all of my head if I wanted to, and I loved that idea. So I slept on that, woke up and was feeling it, so I basically went right to dye my hair this morning. It's looking more crimson now. I feel like it's giving Bowie, kind of. Anyways, also like vampire, but I'm super into it. I think it's fun and funky and fresh. Past the entire hair situation though, welcome to today's video. What color are your favorite M&Ms? Mine are definitely the green and the blue ones are my favorite. So today's video, if you follow my Instagram, yesterday I put up a poll on my story deciding between two videos, either like a DIY craft, kind of easy ways to customize your own clothes, and then organizing and cataloging my clothing and accessory and shoe collection. That one will still be happening. I think it's gonna take a little bit longer, and actually the poll ended up to be 50-50. So I decided I wanted to do this one first because this one I am partnering with someone. It's not sponsored by in any way, but they did give me like some of the things to do for this, like some of you'll see when I get there and I'll tell you more about it. It's not sponsored, but it is like in collaboration with one of my favorite brands. I think that this video is going to be really helpful and fun, and hopefully give some people some ideas on ways to customize their own pieces. Hopefully this will give you some ideas to make your items more you, or more personal, or even more of like a vintage touch on them. I've always loved customizing my own clothes, making my own clothes even, and I've never like actually learned how to sew. I did it when I was little. My grandma gave me an American Girl doll for one of my birthdays, and I used to love her, and I would make her matching clothes to things that I had with like extra fabric around. I don't know why my mom let me use the sewing machine at like 8 years old, but I was, and there was no fear about it, so actually thank you, Mom, for that. I'm not saying that everything was good, but I mean it worked for me, and without having the resources to do or buy anything else, I feel like it was, you know, a good compromise and a good kind of way to get the style that I wanted. You can do like button-wise to DIY your own buttons, like without having to get the whole press machine thing. You can take like an actual button that you already have. In the UK you call them badges, so it's just like that circle thing with like a pin on the back is what I'm talking about. You have one of those, it's ugly, you don't like it, say you just got it, I don't know, for free at a parade or something, they were just throwing them out from the floats. You could take that, you can, you know, draw your own design, print it, whatever you want to do, cut it up for my magazine, Mod Podge the button, lay down your picture over top, add more Mod Podge on that once it's dried in, and then you have your own button that's nearly free to create if you got the button for free, you know? You just have to get a thing of Mod Podge, which is maybe like $10, but it can be used for so many other crafts afterwards, so once you get it, you're kind of like in like Flynn. There might even be a way that you can make Mod Podge if you don't have access to it. I would just Google around. You'd be surprised at what you can make from like things that are just lying around your house. I'm gonna try to keep things in categories of what we're talking about. So since we're talking about pins now, with these pins, you know, you can add them to something like a hat. I feel like people don't think of this very often, but adds a little something to it. Okay, here's more pin examples. This is actually my jacket from high school. I painted it just using acrylic paint, so it's definitely a little bit cracked. and not totally opaque, but I still get so many compliments on this when I'm going out, and honestly I feel like it kind of looks shitty, but it always gets compliments. People always ask about it, and I don't know, I think it's cool that I did this when I was like probably 17, and I've just kind of been adding pins to it ever since. But this thing holds a very special place in my heart, and you don't even have to get the proper kind of paints. I mean, if you want to do it right, you sure can, but there's definitely no rules, and don't let somebody who's being a snob tell you that you need to get a certain kind of paint. Here's another hat pin situation, but a different kind of a pin. It's missing one of its little danglies, sadly, but this is just a vintage brooch, and I feel like adding brooches to your hats or whatever it is also another fun way to like add some pizzazz, like your own personal touch to something. This is also a functional thing for me because otherwise this hat is way too floppy. It's cute and it's functional, and I can switch it out with different outfits. So, you know, look out for little brooches. Or again, you can make your own just by getting like the little pin backs. You could rip it off a button if you wanted to and glue it to anything really and make it a brooch. Okay, kind of going off of the idea of like pins and sticking things into things that are sharp. This is super easy. These pants I just thrifted and I thought that they would look cool with like some chains around the pockets. So I just had these safety pins, these big ones I think I got from Michael's. But you know, you can get whatever size you want. And then I just had this chain. Also, they sell this at Michael's or like any craft store that has jewelry making supplies. And so I just have like a couple spools of different chain, but it comes in handy for a lot of things, including just adding to clothes. And all I had to do was pin where I wanted it to, snip the chain, and layer it up how I wanted it to be. And you could even, if you don't have chain at home, you could even use like a necklace or an old necklace, you know, really anything. Just kind of look around and see what's near you and try and come up with stuff that you have on hand. I feel like sometimes that's how the most creative and fun ideas come up, is just by necessity, really. Okay, continuing on with some of the pins, but also transferring over into our next topic. We've got some more pins on here. These are actually from my high school, like, Letterman's jacket. I never actually got the jacket, but I found them when I was at my parents' house last, and I was like, that would be a fun addition to my jacket. So these are for choir, including these stars. But then I also have more of the safety pins on here, just to, you know, give it a little twist to this jacket. This is actually a pin that I did make with Shrinky dinks, if you're familiar with those. It's like paper. That's kind of plasticky paper. Some you can print on, some you can draw on. But anyways, I drew on this one, and it's usually like this much bigger, and then you put it in the oven and you bake it and they shrink down and they get hard. So that's what I did with this, and then I just put like a clear gloss kind of topper thing over it, and then I just glued on this little pin back. And now we're going to transfer over into our next kind of way of accessorizing, personalizing your items, which is patches. You might have saw I had a patch here on this. This was probably my first ever patch that I sewed onto something, and I kept a little bit right here so I could stick stuff in it like flowers. But this is my special knee-highs jacket. I got this jacket thrifting, and then I was like, you know what would be cool if I had a jacket that said the knee-highs on it. Then I added this patch on. I love the number 3, I love the number 13, they're like my lucky numbers. And I was on Instagram, I had posted a picture of my jacket, and I asked if anybody had any or knew where to get 3 and 13 patches for my jacket. The brand that inspired me to do this video, which is Patchulator. I have been in love with their work since I was probably 17, 16. I remember still being in high school when I saw their brand, and she reached out to me and asked if I wanted to design some patches. So, I mean, needless to say, I was so stoked and excited. So we collaborated on some, and I added them to this jacket, of course. So this one I did, it is the knee-highs symbol that the 4 of us made together. It's not on that arm, it's on this arm, and then we each poke and stick tattooed it onto each other. So here's mine. Then it's in patch form, and I got one for each of us as well. And then this is another one that we collaborated on. Lucky 13, little 4-leaf clover, and then the 13 here. Super in love. We also made one that is inspired by whiskey, Lucky 13 as well. And we've got the little silhouette of a cat on there. But they have a gigantic selection of different patches on their website, and all of them are pretty sick. I'll actually be adding a few patches that are on their website to some clothes while in this video. I'm gonna do that in the next portion, so stay tuned for that. I also have these jeans, which I have like highly decorated in patches. I got these jeans off of Depop. They're originally Stone Immaculate, and I have been in love with these jeans again since I was in high school. They came with this patch, Eat Shit on it. Love that. Actually, that's what my homemade little pin says too. Some of these are from Patchulator as well that I've gotten in the past, like this one and this. This is from Bob Dylan Concert. Another form of doing a patch is kind of taking like a t-shirt or a piece of fabric that you really like, or like a design off of a t-shirt but maybe you don't like the t-shirt, cutting it out and sewing it onto a new t-shirt or onto a jacket. So this didn't come from a t-shirt. This is actually a beautiful embroidery piece that my friend from like my freshman year of high school and middle school made this and sent it to me. It says Crimson and Clover on it, which if you guys have been following me for a while, you will know that that was like my username before I just switched to my name. Super gorgeous. I added it to the back of this jacket, but you know, it could have been sewn onto a shirt as well. This could have been a shirt itself, and you could just like cut it off. Use some fray lock on the sides, which will stop it from fraying if you don't want to like take the time and, you know, seal the edges by sewing them. And I did all of this sewing by hand. I didn't have a sewing machine up until recently, and I actually have yet to use my sewing machine that I got. So all of my sewing that I do, including the patches on, the actual dresses and like shirts and stuff that I make, are all hand stitched, which takes a while, but you know, it works. I'm gonna do this with a t-shirt that I have. I've been planning on doing it for a while. It's the Plaster Caster of Chicago shirt that was given to me by Cynthia Plastercaster, rest in peace. Really sad that she just passed. That kind of really just bummed me out. But I planned on taking that shirt and cutting off the design and then sewing it to a new shirt. Just because the shirt doesn't really fit me how I like my shirts to fit. But I love the design on it, and I love that Cynthia gave it to me, so, you know, I just want to get more use out of it. I think that'll be a perfect way to do that. Continuing on with like homemade patches that you do yourself, I did this for the Action Music video. If you haven't seen it, you really should, because I think it's amazing, but I wanted a personalized piece for the music video, so I thrifted this jumpsuit, and then I cut this out from our t-shirt design. I just like put a piece of paper over one of our t-shirts and then traced it very carefully, and then cut that out, and then I had all these leather scraps that I just bought like dead stock off of eBay, which I used for a different project, but I luckily had a larger red scrap that I just laid down, and I ended up tracing the kind of stencil that I made out of the paper, cut this out and sewed it on, and then I had my own custom leather patch, which I think looks really good. Another way to customize that's on this jumpsuit is by adding studs, and let me just tell you, this was so easy to do. The studs themselves can be a little pricey if you're doing a lot, but if you search around you can find some, you know, pretty good deals, but the actual application itself, so simple. All you have to do is shove the prongs through and then get like a wrench, not a wrench, but like pliers kind of a thing, and squeeze down all the little prongs so you don't get stabbed. And I added them all over the collar, all over here, going down the sides of the legs and along the cuffs. And then on the back I did up these seams as well. And I think it turned out really, really cool. And like I said, super easy. You could do this to a pair of plain jeans or shorts and get some really cool looking, you know, denim. Oh, that reminds me, I also did that to one of our t-shirts. Let me go get that. So these are really tiny studs that, my shirt's kind of dirty, don't mind that. It's worn a lot, but this shirt I thrifted, and then I had Alice, who screen prints our merch, print on this, so it's like a really cute tight-fitting shirt. And then I just took these baby studs, which I ordered and realized that they were too small to use on the jumpsuit, and I used them around the collar of this t-shirt, and I think it just kind of adds like a little something, you know. Oh yeah, and then I added these larger ones that have rhinestones in the center to the bottom, and I think it looks really cool. You can literally make your own t-shirts at home. I make lino cut prints, and if you don't know what that is, it's like one of my favorite art things to do because it's so like soothing. So you have this like block of rubber, or you can, I mean there's other forms as well of like this printmaking, but the lino cut ones, you have this like block of rubber and you have these special little tools, and then you can carve out of it, and you take ink, you roll it over, you press it down. I thought, what if I just did it on a t-shirt? And then I basically just used a paper cutout that I did of the different wing portions and mirrored it over so that it was the same, to get this design. But you know, you could freehand it, and then to set in this ink, all I had to do was iron it. I just put a towel over it and ironed it. And I had like a piece of cardboard in between here too, so if this did get sticky at all, it wouldn't have the two sides of the shirt stuck together. But it's lasted really well, and I think it looks super cool. And that way you can literally make whatever design you want. You don't even have to use the printmaking process. That's just if you wanted to make like multiple of them. This was the stamp that I used for my boxes for bundles. Another really cool way to kind of paint on t-shirts, which actually Chris Luck gave me this idea, is taking bleach and painting on it. One day I was cleaning up my tub, and for some reason I was wearing one of my favorite turtlenecks. Total bonehead move. I don't know why I was doing that, but I got bleached right on the tip of my boob. Like, it must have been from like leaning over or something, but I just had a bleach spot right on my boob, so I decided just to take my hands, which were already covered in bleach, and just like all over the place. And it did save the top. It's more of like a concept art piece now. It's supposed to be the no touch zone is what it's called, and it just has like handprints of bleach all over the top, and I think it looks really cool. So you could really, you know, paint with the bleach, you could splatter, you could like half dip dye kind of a thing. I think that'd be cool too. This is another thing that takes a little bit of time. It wasn't super long. I did this on a trip with Andrew while we were going to some shows and like during sound check and stuff. I just had my shorts, a little bag of beads, and some thread, and I beaded these stars onto the shorts. A good way to kind of like mark what you're doing when you're like either painting or cutting or beading, whatever you're doing on fabric. I love using chalk because it washes right out, but usually it can stay pretty well with like being folded, moved around, whatever. This is another thing that if you want to go like to the point that I did, it'll take a little bit of time, but like the basic idea of it is very simple. I made this shirt out of scraps from a dress that I shortened, and basically all I did is, this was like one long strip, right? And so I just kind of like measured on myself to how far I needed it to go down, where I needed like arm areas and stuff like that. And I basically just snipped away, took extra fabric that was from like these parts, 2 strips, cut little slices here and tied it in. And then I have a cute little halter top, so easy. And then what I did is, honestly you can't see it as much, so I'm kind of disappointed, but I did stitch Venus into this with chains, and maybe I'll do it with like a bigger chain I'll get, but I have like 3 strands of these small chains layered up, and I basically just stitched it on to say what I wanted it to say. That took a long time just because the chain was very hard to work with. And then I have safety pins put up here. Okay, hats. So, you know, you get a hat thrifting, or sometimes they have hats like this at like Michael's or something, but you can usually find them thrifting just from somebody's little old grandma who didn't want it anymore. Just like a plain hat, and then do whatever you want to it. Like I added all of this fake moss and the butterflies and the fake flowers, and it's just like a really cute spring, summer kind of like woodland fairy hat. And then another hat that I personalized, this one is inspired off of the Rolling Thunder tour from Bob Dylan. Ba-bam, it's super cute. I really love this one. Okay, this is like an off chance of something, but literally look around at your home decor and be like, could I wear that? Because this was a wall hanging, but I thought it'd make a really cool necklace. So what I did was just detach the little like wall hanging part here, and then since I have a bunch of jewelry making stuff, I added a little crab claw hook thing here and a little O-ring kind of dealio, and bam, I have a super cool statement necklace. Okay, and then the next two things that I'm going to share before we get into like customizing some things right now. Paint your boots. This I painted with leather paint, and the first time that they were used, they were worn in a muddy rainfall. So this happened, but I think that I could maybe retouch this. They were just plain black leather boots, and now they're fun and funky. And then the last thing is another shoe. This is like a good example of rhinestoning. I just used a rhinestone glue for these. These I customized for one of our shows, the knee-high shows in Nashville. I also painted all of the silver parts because it was just like, I think brown and then a dirty white along here. So I decided to paint all of the trim and bottom bits silver. And I think I just did that with acrylic paint, but it's holding up pretty well too. So, you know, it doesn't have to be done by the book. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be perfect for you. But now that you have some ideas on some things to do to get you started, let's go look at what I'm working on right now. Okie artichoke. So I have these things here with some patches that were sent to me by Patchulator. We're gonna do a little sewing. I will probably actually be doing this tomorrow. So you'll see me do a little outfit and look change. But I have this laid out just for planning reasons, kind of deciding what's gonna go where. Let me show you a little closer. So I am absolutely in love with these kind of like thermal long underwear style shirts. Something about it is very comfy, very cozy. I definitely love, and I usually have like a nice fit to them. This one is gifted to me by my friend Pamela. She owns Belle de Jour by Pamela, which is her Etsy store. And I think that it'd be really cute with this patch right here. Maybe, nah, I think in the center. This one says Love Fool on it with this cute little clown. Then I have these pants. Uh-oh. It really is the story of vintage pants. Like, the one thing that I rip the most is my vintage pairs of pants. So, these patches are not only going to be cute, but they're also going to be very useful in helping me seal up these holes and make sure that they don't rip any further. So I think I'm going to put this one here, like at a slant. It's this gigantic one. I'm in love with these huge ones. It says, "What would Dolly do?" I really like these colors with this blue and white color scheme as well. And these also, I forgot to say, they do have like the ability to be iron-on. I prefer just stitching mine down more because I feel like it's more secure that way, but if you really wanted to do like super quick, easy, iron that shit on, baby. And then they're also great for covering up. Oh my gosh, there's a bunny! Shut up, it's like Clementine. At first I kind of did a double take because it just seems so normal, but I'm not at my old house where Clementine was. Oh my gosh, what a little angel. This is not a patch from Patchulator. This I bought from my friend who owns Sunset People Shop. And it is going to be perfect to cover this little stain on my booty. Surprisingly, you can't really see it on camera. Really not very big, but I like the colors with it all. Okay, and then this, I'm gonna do another shirt, but this one I'm going to do a tank top. Since that one is long sleeve, I just have a plain black tank top. I think this is also gifted to me by my friend Belle de Jour by Pamela. And I'm going to put this patch on it, Heart of Glass. I love the little scallop edge on the heart. Can I see it though on this? Like, it's making me have second thoughts of putting it on here. Like, maybe I should put it on something that isn't black. I'll decide more tomorrow. I'll think about it and get back to you, but I think I'm gonna do it on this one. I really like how this is ribbed and it's kind of like a little bit of a cropped fit. Okay, and then some of my favorite pants ever that are some of my most problemed pants probably. These Star Spangled, so freaking cool. These are definitely vintage. They are very fragile. All of the patches that I've added to this are all very functional. So you can see I've ripped these quite a bit. These two are also from Patchulator. So this I have, where's the hole? I have one hole here. I think it's from this one. It's just kind of like going down my leg a little bit. So I'm gonna add the Good Time and Man right there to fix that. This actually comes with that too. They're a pair, Good Time and Man and Good Hearted Woman. And this one I think I'm going to end up putting, I'll probably put here because this is where I see another hole kind of coming through. I see that the pocket here is kind of ripping out as well, so I think I'll just stitch this up without a patch. And then the final hole on these guys, the last time that I wore them, I must have got my heel stuck in them or something, but it's along the end of the pants here. It's just like a couple little holes, but since they are so close to each other, but still kind of take up a lot of room, one of these big patches is gonna be perfect. And I have this one on it, the Alice Cooper Be My Lover patch. On these pants, it kind of gives me Elected vibes. So I think that they work perfectly together, and I'll just stick that right there on the leg. And then I'll be set to wear these pants again finally and can get them out of my to fix pile, which is over there. Some of the clothes are things that need to be sold. And that is what we'll work on tomorrow. So see you then. Welcome back everyone. It's the next day, as you can guess. I did this shirt last night when I was kind of like unwinding from the day and just sitting in bed. I think it looks really cute. And today I was actually going to try to use my sewing machine to do the rest of this, but I have no idea where my sewing machine pedal is, so that is an issue. Just doing all of this is gonna take a long time, and I really wanna get this video up for you all, and I think that you'd rather see the video sooner than like sit and watch a time lapse of me doing this all really fast. So I'm gonna do this t-shirt today. I decided against the black, like I was talking about yesterday, how I really like the scallop detail on the edge of this. I wanted to be able to see that, so I picked out this red tank top that I thrifted and kind of beat up. And then I'll do these pants too, just since I have less patches to actually sew on this one. But I wanna show you how I'm going to stop this from getting bigger. It's super easy and kind of like a cheat shortcut way to do it. But if you don't have like a sewing machine or the time or whatever to properly stitch this up, I feel like this trick is gonna come in handy for you all. And then I'll get this done just on my own time. So I have my little sewing bag here. Doing this is pretty self-explanatory, so I don't feel like I need to really say much, but it will just be cool to see like before and after and everything. Yes, here's the top. That really did not take very long at all. So I'm basically just gonna do the same thing, pin the patches down, and then sew around, and I'll show you how I'm going to stop the fabric from fraying further. Okay, so great news. I sewed on the patches. Here's one, here's two. They're looking great. Oh, Whiskey's awake now, being a cutie pie. Girl. So now that the patches are on and everything, I'm just gonna flip them inside out. Take this fray lock. I got it on sale, pretty sure at Michael's. But this saves my life. I've used this so much. So many situations this comes in handy, let me just tell you. It's a saving grace, so I really highly recommend. And I'm just going to go along the edge here, and you just need a little bit. It dries clear, but it just kind of like seals the edge in. This will hopefully save my pants, at least until the next patching that I need to do. Maybe before bed I'll finish these pants and do this really quick. If I do, I'll show you, and then I'll do a try on and show those once they're dry. But for now I need to go get some groceries because I have no food here. Yay! Okay, so I'll see you guys after a while. Okay, I was just outside running around in the rain. And here's these pants, so I'm a little soaking wet in case you're wondering. But these are great. Just tested them. The patches are holding up nice and swell, doing their job. And then here's the top that we did yesterday. I love the way that this just totally took this tank top to a whole other place. And then the pants I have on, of course, I just finished those this morning actually. Added that patch there, seems to be holding up well. This one here. And then the Alice Cooper one on my leg. This one, I just have to like mold to be a little less flat, but I think with some wear, it will be perfect. So I want to say thank you to Patchulator for sending me the patches, letting me do some custom ones. It's super cool. I'll have them linked down in the description, just in case you wanted to check out what they have on their site. I am personally a big fan. But I also hope that this just gave you some ideas on different ways to customize your clothes, make them a little personal, and maybe it sparked some new ideas that you had yourself as well. So tag me in any of your projects that you share with the general public on TikTok or Instagram. I would love to see. You want to say hi? It also kind of inspires me as well to see your projects. Whiskey wanted to say hi. I hope that you all enjoyed this video. I hope you're having a great day or night or whatever time it is, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. I'm sending lots of love, and I'll catch you in the next one.